So before we get started, I ask that you please like the video, please comment, and definitely subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. So Donald Trump has already done more in his first week back in office than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did in all of the 4 years that they were in office. Starting on Inauguration Day, he signed a wave of executive orders, the mass deportation blitz, and actually delivering on the things that he ran on. All of this in his first week. It's nice to see a president in office who can actually engage with people and not have to rely on a teleprompter to do their job. A president who believes in putting America first and showing up for the people, just as he did in North Carolina, California, and Nevada, a state that he lost back in 2016 and 2020. And I'm not at all crazy about Donald Trump, but I am impressed. I'm quite impressed by the action that this administration is taking on getting this country back on the right track. So, Inauguration Day, which was also Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, that we were celebrating that day. I did watch the inauguration. It was the first one that I watched in, gosh, what, 12 years? I watched most of it, and it was nice. I enjoyed seeing it. Melania looked absolutely stunning. Her look kind of reminded me of a spy. Very polished, well put together, with the hat. A very classy look, which is how I would like to be when I grow up. And both Donald Trump and J.D. Vance took their oaths, and that made it official. It was priceless seeing Donald Trump admonish both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and their administration on the failures and chaos that their administration has caused this country just in the last 4 years, and even around the world. And the whole time, they could not say anything. All they could do is face us, face the entire world, and be held accountable for their incompetence. And it's really quite sad because they could have actually done the opposite. They could have actually done right by the country and by the people of this country, but they chose not to. That's why they were voted out of office. And that is why Donald Trump was reelected. So if you're upset about Donald Trump being back in office, you should place blame on the Biden and Harris administration because they did such a lousy job that caused them to lose the election. I'm not expecting Trump to solve all of our problems or make my life perfect. That's not at all what I'm expecting or what I'm hoping for. But I would like to see things get better. During the inauguration, I felt optimistic about the future as I watched the transfer of power. I'm not expecting a politician to come and save me. These last 4 years have been the most challenging of my life. And I'm sure there are other people watching this who can definitely speak to that as well. My life during Donald Trump's first term compared to the last 4 years of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, my life under Donald Trump's first term was better. The last year under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, we had record inflation, mass illegal immigration, a cost of living crisis that only got worse. Our tax dollars were funding wars. They could have been here at home helping us solve our problems. The inaugural ball was also nice. Both Melania and Ushka, J.D. Vance's wife, looked stunning. Very exquisite. And Trump signing all of those executive orders on the day of his inauguration, I have never seen anything quite like that before. But it was definitely something that needed to be done. I don't agree with Donald Trump on everything, but there are a lot of things that I do agree with his administration on. So I am a trans person, and he signed an executive order that states that there are only two genders in this country, male and female. I identify as a trans woman. On my passport, my driver's license, all of my IDs say female. I understand that there are some people who do not want to identify as either male or female. Having all of these genders, it just makes things very confusing. And Biologically, I know that I am not female biologically, and I've accepted that. I'm okay with that. I'm not oblivious to that scientific fact, to that biological fact. Having all of the multiple genders it's crazy. It really is. If you choose to not identify as either gender, that's fine, but we're such a small percentage of the population, and I don't think we have the right to force our beliefs or our ideals on everyone else like that. So I'm okay with only having two genders. So the Remain in Mexico policy, yes, that was something that Joe Biden did away with very early in his term. And that's what kickstarted the mass illegal immigration that really caused a lot of problems. And having all of those people flood into this country, undocumented, unchecked, not all of them were bad people, but some were criminals. Some were committing crimes after coming into this country illegally. And as a country, every country has limited resources. If you have millions upon millions of people flooding into your country, it's only going to increase the demand on resources, which is going to cause prices to go up. So that was another reason why things were getting more expensive so fast. I would like to see prices decrease. We pay too much for food, we pay too much for housing. Wages have been stagnant for the most part. And to purchase a home in this country is not something that is feasible for the average American. $500,000 is the average price here in America. So not only should they focus on lowering interest rates, we need to lower the prices of homes. And wages need to be able to afford people the American dream, if it still exists or if it's ever existed. So ending DEI, I don't have an issue so much with Donald Trump ending DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, or even affirmative action. I'm a black person, and if you look at the numbers, they'll show that the majority of us did not benefit from affirmative action. Affirmative action was the most beneficial to Caucasian women, actually. So to have affirmative action and DEI be done away with, I don't think it actually helped us out anyway. The evidence isn't there. So mass deportation got underway immediately at warp speed. Illegal immigration came to a screeching halt. Tom Homan is definitely the right man for the job, as borders are. He's all business. Joe Biden could have done this if he had really wanted to, but they caused this problem and they did not want to solve it. They had no interest in putting a stop to illegal immigration that was harming a lot of Americans, the majority of us. And just because you're against illegal immigration does not mean that you're against immigrants. There's a difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. Illegal immigration is breaking the law. So if you're going to immigrate into this country, do it the right way. A lot of the ICE raids and arrests were televised. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There was one in Boston, Chicago, New York, and other sanctuary cities as well. One thing I would like to point out, the raid in Boston where they were arresting the illegals, there was a Haitian guy in one of the videos saying, he was saying he loved Biden, he was praising Biden and cheering Obama, go Obama, or whatever he said, but I noticed that they concealed everyone else's identity except him. Why is that? If you're going to show his face, show the others. Reveal their identities as well. They're all criminals. They broke the law. They've committed crimes, yes. But I think it's wrong for them to conceal the other's identity and not conceal his. But there is resistance from states that are run by Democrats who are trying to go against law and protect illegal immigrants. But I say let's head them up and move them out. And no, these are people, they're not livestock. We just can't handle that amount of illegal immigration in this country. It isn't safe. It's become a burden, a major burden on the country and the people of this country. So they must go back home. We do not know who these people are coming into the country or that were coming into the country illegally. His administration, they hit the ground running. I must give them credit for that. And they seem to be on the right track for making things better for Americans. I know they aren't going to be perfect, and there will be things that they do that I'm not in agreement with. You know, as a trans person, I don't know what's in store for us. You know, most of us are good people. We do not want to do any harm to anyone or cause any problems. But there are a lot of us, the bad actors, who have caused problems. And that's the reason why a lot of people have turned against trans individuals. But there are a lot of us out here who are not in support of that and who just want to blend in and live our lives in peace. You know, being trans, it's not. There's a lot of ignorance too, I think, when it comes to people understanding people who are transgender. It's not something that you can just turn on and off. We deal with gender dysphoria, we deal with body dysmorphia, we deal with a lot of issues. If someone is that type of person who can decide all of a sudden that they're trans, they're probably not really transgender. But if you're one of those people who want to learn more about what transgender individuals go through and try to understand it a little more. You know, there's a lot of information out there. There are a lot of good sources that you can find online, just about anywhere, to really learn, just to educate yourself a little more on what trans individuals deal with. I believe Trump also signed an executive order that prevents trans women from competing against biological women in sports. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I have no issue with that. As trans women, it isn't always the case, but there's always a good chance that we may have an advantage over a biological woman. And I'm not saying all, because there are a lot of biological women who are professional athletes, probably all of them, who will definitely dominate if they were to compete against me, because I'm not that athletic. These people who participate in sports, they are athletic and they've been training for quite some time, for a very long time, that they've conditioned their bodies in a way that give them an advantage, a competitive advantage. And if you're a biological male who went through male puberty and you decide to compete against biological women, even if you are taking hormone replacement therapy, there's still a chance that you may have an advantage over a biological woman. And I'm not saying all. Yes, we need to create our own leagues if we want to participate professionally in sports. That's my opinion. So hopefully, Donald Trump will make good on his promise to make this the golden age of America. That has yet to be seen. So far, I like most of what I'm seeing. Thank you for watching, everyone. Our time is now. Let's change the world.